All right, we're going to wrap up this section on consumer choice by thinking about a recent development in economics. Not that recent; it's been around for at least 3 decades, but it's kind of the newest branch of economics, behavioral economics. So we're gonna investigate sort of the aspects of behavioral economics in this last section. So really the question we're kind of asking ourselves here is, does behavioral economics do a better job of predicting consumer choices? Um, well, it's not entirely clear. I think the answer is yes. In some cases, it's true, but not in all cases. But in any case, what is involved with behavioral economics? Well, advocates, proponents of behavioral economics, generally apply something called the bounded rationality assumption. And um, so far, we've basically been assuming that consumers and all economic agents, for that matter, are entirely rational, right? So, in other words, they would never intentionally harm themselves. They make choices that only make themselves better off, and furthermore, that they have all the necessary information in the world to make those choices. Um, so that's what we've been assuming, but behavioral economics kind of questions this assumption. They say, well, is it really a good assumption to think that people have all the information that they need and that they're perfect at making choices? Um, the answer is probably no. That probably isn't a good assumption. There's probably at least a little bit of wiggle room there, where maybe we should allow for the fact that consumers probably from time to time make mistakes, right? So when consumers make mistakes, it's basically as if they're acting irrationally, right? They're not acting as if they are rational. But if the rationality assumption does not apply to actual behavior, then neither should this utility-based consumer choice theory, right? This theory we just learned can't really be applied if consumers don't act rationally. So this is a really interesting development in economics because it calls into question this model, this theory of consumer choice that we just learned. But as it turns out, like I said earlier, this model of consumer choice does an incredible job at predicting behavior. There have been many, many, many experiments done testing this theory, and basically none of them have refuted it. There are very, very special cases where behavioral economics does slightly better than consumer choice theory, but they're only here and there. So despite the doubts that are expressed by advocates for behavioral economics, most economists are still just simply applying the rationality assumption and assuming that people behave as if they're trying to maximize their utility. So they continue to use this utility theory approach that we just learned.